Hi, my name is Alyssa Laredo, and this is my Aloha speech. On December 27th of 2019, after 2 plates of sushi and a boba drink, I walked freshly 18 into a tattoo shop to get the quote, "You are who you choose to be," and the stem of a rose right in the middle of my back. I first heard this quote in the movie Iron Giant, which was my first VCR movie at a very young age, probably younger than 6. This movie was about the journey of what it takes to turn an outer space robot into a Superman of Maine in the late 50s. According to my mom, this was my comfort movie, and that still remains true to this day. But since I've gotten older, I've noticed that every time I watch it, something changes. Of course, the characters haven't aged with me, but as I obtain new experiences and go through life, my perspective alters every day. And with that being said, every time I've watched this movie, I find myself resonating with the characters and their actions. To demonstrate, one point of growing up, I felt a connection with the outer space robot, Giant. This character is like a newborn to this world and constantly in a learning cycle and questions his past life and current existence. Then I started to grow into a young lady and I began to resonate with Hogarth Hughes, a rebellious young kid with a hard-working single parent who listens to his heart. Now that I'm a little older, it seems like I've experienced the emotions of every character, almost every character, and the story of what it means to be a monster robot from outer space that has been seen as a gun, but is now a hero to all. Not because the giant needed to, but because he chose to. Just as we've all had opportunities to make some choices that would determine the rest of our lives, so did Giant, but he took his own life to save a whole country. I am grateful to be able to make choices every day. Waking up and leaving my bed is the first choice of the day, but is the most important, considering my depression consumed me, and leaving my room at one time felt like the biggest chore. The whole tattoo on my spine is actually a blossom rose with the quote as a stem. The significance of this rose is that it's a memorial tattoo for my late Grandma Rosa. My Grandma Rosa was a big part of my upbringing. She is also a Virgo, and I'm a Virgo rising in my birth chart, but besides the point. I have always seen a lot of resemblance between us, and not just our curly hair, but our love for love and how vulnerable we can be for true love. My grandma moved to the U.S. when she was 15 and had her first daughter at 17. She got cheated on and still carried on, and eventually met my grandpa and had 11 more kids. My mom, being the second batch of children, recalls her childhood as fun but hardworking. Being the hard worker my grandma was, to provide for all of her offspring, she had instilled these strict traits into my mom, which along the way was passed on to me. My grandma had the choice to settle for welfare and not work, while my grandpa worked in the ranch, but my grandma wanted to please her family as a parent, and to do so, she started selling odds and ends at flea markets and worked her way into production and produce. Since this quarantine, I've begun to learn the importance of knowing our history, especially of our unique self and background. Just recently, I put down my phone from watching all these TikToks and began asking my mom about her life and experiences, because sometimes I forget that this life isn't just mine. I live with a whole nother person with problems, lessons, and experiences. At last, freshly tattooed, I am walking out from the Merced High gates and into my new choices. Fortunately, I've had good mentors and reflectable moments to thank and say aloha to new ones. Although my senior year was cut a little short, it was filled with unexpected laughs. I know everything happens for a reason, and although there isn't really a clear reason right now, I know there will be. I've been told I'm really optimistic. Personally, senior year started a little bizarre since the first day. I shattered my whole phone screen at senior sunrise, and it's been like that since. I discovered that you can't be disappointed if you didn't expect anything in the first place. In a way, maybe the quarantine was best for my own health and sanity, and as I get into the car in 2 weeks to receive my drive-through diploma, I know that all these obstacles were set in place for me this year to prepare me for whatever choices are to come next. Now, as I go on to my own venture, I need to take some time to appreciate what helped mold me into the young lady I am now. Was it the Iron Giant suicide, or hearing my grandma cry herself to sleep when she thought everybody else already was? Maybe. All I know is that I am the creator of my own reality. And a whole different life is just one choice away. I may not know what is going to happen in the next 5 years, but I plan on making choices with my heart and leading with love and light in all that I do. Until then, thank you.